more you reveal your pain, the more people may want to hurt you. Although this doesn't always happen, it's quite common for some individuals to take pleasure in witnessing your suffering, or even contributing to making your pain worse. Unfortunately, these sadistic and envious behaviors exist in many people and can hinder your personal development in various areas of life, whether at work, among friends, or even within the family. Therefore, learning how not to display your weaknesses can turn them into your strengths. Imagine yourself as a towering tree in the midst of a fierce storm. The leaves may flutter in the strong winds, and the branches might sway violently, but the trunk remains sturdy, deeply rooted in the fertile soil. This is the image of silent resilience that we will explore today. We will discuss how you can become stronger by showing that you are not easily affected by external or internal issues. Each challenge will teach you to be as steadfast as the tree, acting as if nothing bothers you. You don't deny the storm, but you choose not to let the rain drench you or the strong winds topple you. You will learn to master your own destiny, steadfast, strong, and serene amidst the chaotic sea. In this video, we will discuss the 18 Stoic principles of Epictetus, a great and renowned philosopher you may have heard of. Additionally, I invite you to explore self-awareness, where strength doesn't come from the loud thunder, but from the quiet light that guides the way. So, in the next few minutes, focus on the content rather than the daily distractions. Principle 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever wondered why nature gave us 2 ears but only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, there's no mistake or coincidence in this. Instead, there's a clear purpose behind this fact. It's not for us to love our own voices, but to love the voices of others. Listening and learning from others will help us progress in life, not by repeating what we've said. So, starting today, begin paying more attention to what those around you are saying and less focus on what you've maintained so far. Principle 2. Always expect the worst. One of the biggest causes of anxiety and devastating consequences is believing that unfavorable circumstances await us in the future. We fear that our children will drop out of school, that we will be fired, that our partner will confess to an affair and request a divorce, or that something else terrible will happen to us like bankruptcy. The problem is that one day we worry about one issue, the next day about another on life's path. Besides reserving the good and happy parts for us, life also holds a handful of inevitable problems. Thus, we live in a perpetual state of stress from various daily stimuli. This is where Epictetus comes in. His proposal is both bold and effective. Think that all the things you fear have already happened. What if it's even worse? In this way, your mind will develop coping strategies to move forward with your head held high. Have you ever wondered how you would react if faced with a major challenge in life? Think of John's story, someone who has gone through many hardships, but always maintained his spirit and didn't let those challenges hinder his growth. When he suddenly lost his job, instead of sinking into despair, John used that time to pursue his true passion, opening a small coffee shop. Day by day, despite many difficulties, John remained steadfast and eventually turned his dream into reality. John's story shows us that when we mentally prepare ourselves to face failure, we can turn challenges into opportunities to advance. Are you ready to explore how to turn difficulties into opportunities? Continue with us to learn more about the next Stoic principles taught by Epictetus and how to apply them to your daily life to achieve peace and sustainable success. Principle 3. Prepare to fail, because it's the only way to progress. We do the impossible to avoid being seen as fools, but Epictetus has a different perspective on this. According to his philosophy, one of the best things that can happen to you is being seen that way, because it's a way to truly improve both professionally and personally. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming challenges isn't the product of a spontaneous reaction, but the result of a long path filled with trials and mistakes, because it's through these mistakes that we can hone the things that lead us away from excellence. Principle 4. Be aware of the dangers of luck. The wealth we crave brings biases that very few can escape. It's not just about people who appear out of nowhere to benefit from our wealth by pretending to have friendships they don't genuinely feel towards us. Money has the ability to change people, and not necessarily for the better. Once we possess this sought-after resource, we begin to have things we didn't know we had, and from that moment, our minds can start to become toxic before the loss of moral values. Principle 5. Don't cling to a single hope. Fortunately, we are creatures that tend to practice diversity. There's no reason to put all our hopes into a single dream, because it can be devastating if we fail. Therefore, Epictetus encourages us to pursue multiple dreams, as this will exponentially increase our chances of success. Principle 6. Always remember that death awaits at the finish line. This isn't advice to make us pessimistic, but to recognize that death is the final destination of all our actions, and especially our efforts. Once we have this in mind, we might begin to assess the worth of spending 20 years of our limited lives saving to buy a house that, no matter how heavy it is, we can't take it anywhere when death comes to visit us. Just as we carry everyday essentials like phones, credit cards, and toothbrushes in our pockets, it would be beneficial to carry a small notebook with these Stoic principles, because with them, we will no longer see obstacles as disasters, nor view life as an intrinsic period we have in hand, but we will gain a more realistic view of our existence and certainly use our lifetime better. Principle 7. True wealth lies in a contented mind. Through Stoicism, Epictetus has his own concept of happiness, and we can understand it through one of his famous sayings. A wise person is one who does not worry about what they do not have, but rejoices in what they do have. This thought isn't just an idea. It's advice to learn how to stop feeling sad about the wealth that hasn't come into our lives, because when we allow ourselves to complain and be sad about what we lack, we lose the precious moments of happiness. We can be grateful for everything we have achieved so far more than our eyes can perceive. Therefore, the truly wealthy person is the one who is happy. Principle 8. Integrate humility into your life. If you truly want to learn something, it's important for a person to learn what they believe they already know. Through this saying, Epictetus urges us to use humility, especially in the realm of learning. Boasting about pride in our knowledge will cause us to drift further away from the genuine knowledge that arises from the belief that we are completely ignorant about what we intend to learn. In this way, we will see everything through the eyes of a child, eyes full of wonder and a desire to learn. Principle 9. Guilt is like a pandemic. Narrow-minded people blame others. Average people blame themselves. But wise people see all guilt as foolishness. Thanks to this saying of Epictetus, today's therapists have begun to approach guilt as a feeling that needs to be erased from our lives. The only way to win the battle against guilt is to refuse to play with it. The problem is that this leads to an easy path, because by blaming others or ourselves, we completely exempt ourselves from the responsibility of fixing mistakes. Therefore, using guilt is an irresistible temptation. Only those with a strong will to overcome can avoid guilt and still manage responsibility for their actions. Principle 10. Collaborate with those who triumph. It's strange that when someone sneezes near us, we immediately shy away, invaded by the fear that they will infect us. However, we are not as careful as we should be in avoiding one of the most dangerous infectious diseases we face daily. Epictetus left us a wise piece of advice on this. Surround yourself with people who make you want to give your all, because their behavior greatly affects our mood. Some people drain our energy and ruin our day, while others bring us joy and vitality. Therefore, one of the smartest decisions we can make is to ally ourselves with those who bring positive energy into our lives, while we bid farewell to those who have the potential to make us regret being born. Principle 11. Never forget that your reactions shape your destiny. We shouldn't underestimate our reactions, because they truly mark our success or failure, and Epictetus was very clear about this. He taught that we cannot choose what happens, but we can manage how we handle them. Events can happen to any of us, but what we do after they happen will make the difference from that moment on. For some, a divorce means entering a world of depression and victimization. For Epictetus, it's a golden opportunity to start on the path of self-awareness. Remember that your life is not what happens to you, but what you do with it. Principle 12. Always complete your duties. Each of us has a role in society and in the world, and the sun doesn't need praise or magic to rise every morning, but it rises daily, and that's certain. Therefore, just as every part of nature performs its job, we must also fulfill our duties. If we are waiting for praise or recognition to do our work, we are failing both the environment we belong to and ourselves. If we know what our duty is and recognize that others depend on it, it is our moral obligation to perform it without waiting for anyone to remind us. Principle 13. Don't hate those who hate you. Simply don't care. You are so much greater and entirely superior to those who criticize, despise, and discriminate against you. Therefore, don't waste your precious time hating that person because they aren't even worthy of appearing in your thoughts. We are encouraged not to fear those who harm us, because that noise represents a regrettable effort to hurt you. So, ignore it and become immune to it. Principle 14. Trust in simplicity. Why live in austerity when today we have the ability to surround ourselves with all kinds of luxuries? The answer is much simpler and more reasonable than you think, because wealth doesn't sustain itself, but requires commitment and a lot of daily energy to protect this luxury and wealth system. Conversely, when we choose a simple lifestyle, we stop being pressured by having to meet bill payments, loans, and credit cards. Principle 15. When you allow others' comments and attitudes to bother you, you are giving away control of your life. Anyone who has the ability to make you angry becomes the master of you. However, that person can only make you angry when you allow yourself to be bothered by them. Epictetus helps us understand that there are many keys within us, and some lead us to happiness, while others lead us directly to emotional turmoil. It's the latter key that we give to those who anger us. The solution to this problem is to create a barrier that prevents us from being affected by others' attitudes, because surely everyone is the master of what they say and also what they choose to listen to. Principle 16. Friendship is more valuable than anything else. True wealth is having genuine friends because they will stand by us to support us if one day our material possessions disappear. Therefore, spend time nurturing true friendships, and you are making a very beneficial long-term investment. Principle 17. Always benefit from everything. Whatever happens, it depends on you whether to take advantage of it or not. These are Epictetus's words. As you can see, it's not optional to take the good from adversity. Doing so is our duty. As long as you have the intellect, you will have the ability to recognize the benefits you can derive from the situation that has occurred to you. Imagine one day you go to work and find out you're going to be fired. Instead of despairing and blaming the universe against you, you can choose to venture into the business you dream of while still completing your work schedule alongside people you dislike. So, always try to find the positive in a situation, because the accumulation of this mindset throughout your life will surely take you further than just simply complaining. Principle 18. Don't worry about things beyond your control. You are the master of your opinions, but not of your reputation. You have aspirations and enthusiasm in seeking, but you cannot control the amount of goods you have or your success. Therefore, worrying and becoming bitter about things we cannot control is simply a decision to waste time. According to Epictetus, we are called to nurture the values we can change, but it is also our responsibility to let go of what is beyond our control and let fate handle it. Beyond being extremely useful for daily life, Stoic principles are lessons that help us overcome difficult times in an interesting and resilient way, because their philosophy leaves no room for dreaming, but only for applying what has been learned and moving forward. Epictetus's Stoic principles are not just abstract theories, but practical lessons that help us build a resilient, serene, and meaningful life. By applying these principles, we can learn to control our emotions, face challenges, and seek true happiness from within. We are very eager to receive your opinions, stories, and thoughts on these Stoic principles. Share your experiences in the comments below and write Armored Wisdom if you find value in these lessons. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next useful videos. Thank you for watching the video, and see you in the upcoming ones. Principle 18. Don't worry about things beyond your control. You are the master of your opinions, but not of your reputation. You have aspirations and enthusiasm in seeking, but you cannot control the amount of goods you have or your success. Therefore, worrying and becoming bitter about things we cannot control is simply a decision to waste time. According to Epictetus, we are called to nurture the values we can change, but it is also our responsibility to let go of what is beyond our control and let fate handle it. Beyond being extremely useful for daily life, Stoic principles are lessons that help us overcome difficult times in an interesting and resilient way, because their philosophy leaves no room for dreaming, but only for applying what has been learned and moving forward. Epictetus's Stoic principles are not just abstract theories, but practical lessons that help us build a resilient, serene, and meaningful life. By applying these principles, we can learn to control our emotions, face challenges, and seek true happiness from within. We are very eager to receive your opinions, stories, and thoughts on these Stoic principles. Share your experiences in the comments below, and write Armored Wisdom if you find value in these lessons. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next useful videos. Thank you for watching the video, and see you in the upcoming ones.